Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Melody, and this is one of my favorite days and my favorite times, and especially today, I get to spend time with our team and for everybody to get to know who everybody else is and be able to hear all the exciting things happening within the team and within the growth of the team and all the results that people are getting through our training with Unlimited Profits and through the mentoring program with Robert Hollis. Today, is real special for me because not only do I get to see you all, I've missed you, many of you over the last week, but we have Robert Hollis Jr. joining us today and kind of giving us some of his words of wisdom and what's going on. Robert, this is our time that we love to connect the team with all the new members and give the big accolades to everybody who's really sharing and seeing the results here within the team, but I love to, I'm really proud of them, and I know you know who those are that are out there working really hard, so we're going to come back to them, and I'd just like to pass it off to you to see, what's going on, is there anything new that we should know about, what's happening that we don't know? Robert Hollis Jr.?
Well, there's a couple really interesting things that are happening that are going to come to fruition very, very soon. And this is kind of low-key stuff, but whatever, it'll get out eventually. But one of the things that has been, and I talked a little bit about it yesterday in the Q&A, is one of the things that we really, really wanted to implement is an application for your phone, for phones, tablets, so on and so forth, because, we realize that, we're pretty beneficial here in America, that most people can afford a computer, but, now when we're venturing out to places like South Africa and South America and all these different places that, a lot of people don't have that benefit. And also, believe it or not, nowadays, I forget what the exact number is, but people spend 90% more time on their phone on the internet than they do on their computer on the internet. And we need to be able to get into that market where, it's very easy for somebody to jump on their phone or their tablet to do that. Now, of course, with all that said, a lot of stuff with the Spanish side is moving along very, very fast. There's a gentleman, I just did an interview with him. His name is Jorge Turnbull Suarez, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. And this gentleman, for the last 6 years, was in charge of all of Mexico and South America for a multi-million-dollar company. And he has decided now to launch with us and go full-time with Unlimited Profits, which is huge. So, since we're developing the app from get-go, we're actually at the same time developing everything in the Spanish side as well. So that's going to be very, very exciting. And, he's going to be, I guess you would say, is our spokesperson for the Spanish side. And, please don't, as I say all this stuff, some of the times that when reason why we don't announce stuff like this is, the second that I say, and, maybe just with you guys, just keep it together, because, as soon as you say, well, listen, we're developing an app, I don't know when it's going to be ready. It could be as soon as a couple weeks, it could be a couple months. But the second you tell somebody, just like with the Spanish side, then it's like, and me and Scott were laughing about this, because then it's like you get 4 messages every day. Well, hey, is the app ready yet? Is the app ready yet? And, and then people will make excuses for that. Well, oh my gosh, if we just had an app and had it in Spanish, then I'll go to work. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very excited with that, and teaming up with some incredible people on the Spanish side to really, really go out there and market. And, I know this might sound funny, but, I love working with people outside of the U.S. And reason why is because I believe a lot of people in America, and don't take offense to this, are just lazy. I've had the privilege of working with people from Colombia and South America, and and you can tell the story, even like Randy, where hey, I've never made money in network marketing, and then all of a sudden I made $350 my first 30 days. you got people in the US that go, well, whatever, $350, no big deal. People in Colombia go, that's how much I make a month. A lot of these countries don't have, opportunity like we have. I just talked to a lady that has another person from Africa, and they don't have opportunity there for somebody there to make an extra $500 a month. We say in America that's life changing, but in countries like this, it really, really is. I mean, that's a full-time income. That's like the equivalent of making $3 grand a month here in the U.S. So, I think, when, Melody was talking about, if you're talking to the wrong people, just understand that there's some people out there that just aren't ready. They're not sick and tired yet. They're comfortable. And, I think the worst thing about failure is it's just accepted. It really, really is. There's a lot of people that go, well, listen, if I don't make this happen, that's okay because, I failed at these before, and, everybody fails at these things, and I guess I don't really need to make that extra money. So, you just got to talk to people, and, and I always love the statement because one of the first GoPro events that my father spoke on, he had the Millionaire Club panel, where they had all these guys up there and they were bouncing ideas off each other. And I believe there were 6 people up there. And the first guy lost everything that he owned and was living in his truck with his family. The second person was a drug addict and lost his family to drugs. Then you got my father that was an auto mechanic that lost everything. The other person was in and out of jail. And so on and so forth. And as they're telling their stories, Eric Worre gets up on stage and says, listen, I just need to say a disclosure. You don't have to lose everything you own, lose your family, be a drug addict, or go to jail to become a millionaire in network marketing. and why he said that is there's just something that, sparks in people when your back's against the ropes, when you become a fighter. And, it's hard to get an average person to get that passion, to get that desire, because like I said, people are just okay with being mediocre. It's like, well, life sucks and then you die. I hate my job, but at least I got one. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs, but so's everybody else. You got to find the people that aren't happy with their current situation. And, really unfortunately, I believe a lot of people in America are just being voluntary victims. But understand, just like looking at this panel of everybody on here, that there's people out there. And I think the biggest thing that really just holds people up as far as, just going through the numbers, and I understand this, is that, if you guys didn't know this, but do you know what the #1 fear of humans is? Rejection. Some people will say that it's public speaking, but all public speaking is rejection on a massive scale. It's not one person that told me no. It was a group of people that told me no. On a list of, fears, do you realize that humans fear death less than they fear rejection? So when you tell somebody, listen, wow, well, if you talk to 10 people and you get 9 that say no, but 1 that says yes, those are good numbers. And you just say that to people, and they don't realize in their psychology that they're just not interested in going through the rejection to become successful. And that's just a part of fear. I always relate this with, like my skating. Because, and if I've covered this with you guys, I apologize, but I've been using this training over and over and over and over again to really get people to understand how powerful your why is. And once you get that why and determination of what you got to do to become successful, that the what and the how comes. So when I first started rollerblading, I remember passing in front of the school, and there's a bunch of kids that were sliding on the bike rack. And it's like, wow, that's awesome. Well, now I've got a couple decisions. 1 is, hey, this isn't for me. 2 is to be a spectator. And spectators are okay. That's the reason why professionals make millions of dollars in sports. That's the reason why people can create residual income. But you just have to ask yourself, are you a spectator? And I'll get to that in a second. Or third is going, wow, that looks awesome. I want to do this. I want to participate. So what goes through your head? Just like a lot of people go through their head when they start unlimited profits. Well, what do I got to do? Well, the goal is to slide across the rail. Well, how do I do it? You jump up in the air, you turn 90 degrees, and then you land on the rail and slide. Make sure you bend your knees and lean forward and try to balance as well as you can. Okay, that sounds easy. And then I go up, I jump on the rail and slip and get hurt. I hit my elbow, I hit my wrist, I hit my shin. Ow, that hurt. Well, now once again I got a couple decisions. One, is that hurt too much for me to just give up? Or B, go, okay, what did I do wrong? Listen, I told you to lean forward. You slipped backwards. Okay, I do it again. I slip, I fall forwards now because I'm concentrating on leaning forward too much, and then I hit my other wrist and my other elbow. Oh my gosh, that hurt. Listen, man, so now I want you to think about taking what we're doing as a profession, relating it to even sports. Well, listen, what do I got to do? You got to slide on the rail, dude. Well, how do I do it? I just told you. Now you got to practice. Will that hurt? Give up. I don't want to. Well, then jump back on the rail or get out of the way because the rest of everybody's waiting to slide the rail too. And then you get to a point where either A, this is something that you truly want to do, and I'm looking around at everybody else and notice that all the guys have got scabs on their knees and scabs on their wrists, and one of the guys actually got a cast on. Is this really worth it? It was for me. It was fun. It was a passion of mine. So now all of a sudden, when you get to a place of passion, like my father says, is a pop. Now you're not thinking about, the what and the how or the hurt. Because unfortunately, in skating, just like with network marketing, just like with unlimited profits, if you're focused on the pain, if you're focused on what can hurt you, you're going to get hurt. See, if right now I'm going to go to a handrail and jump on it and slide down, if I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I could possibly hit my elbow, I could possibly hit my knee, even worse, I could slip backwards and hit my head. If that's going through my head before I jump on the handrail, what do you think is going to happen? See, I'm not thinking about the what or the how. I'm just thinking I want to be a skater. I got passionate about it. It was something that I loved, even to the point where people called me crazy. Oh my gosh, are you serious? You're a rollerblader? Don't you know you can get hurt doing those? Don't you know not that many people go pro and you're probably wasting your time? Why don't you focus on go getting a job? No, I want to be a skater. And now, when people see me 10 years later of all the practice, hard work, I think I've been to the emergency room like 12 times. And now people watch my skating videos and go, wow, that looks really fun. I'd like to be a rollerblader. And it's like, are you sure? And why am I doing this? Because I love giving other analogies, to get you guys to understand that it's just about coming from a place of passion and wanting to do this and knowing that, it might hurt a little and that's okay because, to be great in life is going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. Are people going to call you crazy? Are people going to tell you that you should give up? Yeah. But is it worth it to you? And just like the analogy that I don't know if I've given that, where if you're gonna go to the store and get toilet paper, have I brought that up with you guys before? Okay, I see Couple people yes, a couple people no. I'll just do it again because I love using this analogy and people will really, really get it. So I'm going through, basically this training. What most people do is they go from the outside in. What do I got to do? Well, you got to talk to new people every day. Well, how do I do that? Well, that's why we started the live lead calls. Well, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? What do I got to do? So then we tell you exactly what to do, and then people sit around and go, well, how do I do it? Okay, well, I'll jump on live once a week to show you exactly how to do it. And then people still won't do it. Why? Because they don't have their why yet. I can tell when you have your why. Because you're going to come from a place of passion, of something that you're enthusiastic, you're excited about. And here's a great example, and I'll use Melody because I know she's such a caring person. So let's say tonight after the pro show, 8 o'clock tonight, you realize that you're out of toilet paper. That's one of those things that it just can't wait for the morning, right? So you go down to the store. There's a lot of cars there, so you got to kind of park kind of far away. And as you're coming out, all of a sudden a guy jumps from outside of the car, on the other side of your car. And this guy is huge, big. I mean, 6'10", 300 pounds, got tattoos all over, wearing a bandana, and's got a baseball bat. Are you interested in fighting this guy, Melody? Okay, if you had to put a percentage on it, what do you think the percent is of the chance that you could actually beat this guy up?
0%. I'm sorry, my computer froze. 0%. There's no way I would go after this guy.
0%, okay? So now it's almost like fight or flight, right? It's like either A, can I run back into the store to get protection, or B, listen, man, here's my keys, here's my wallet, just please don't hurt me. I'll call the cops and hopefully they catch him later, right?
Right.
So absolutely no chance that you would try to confront this guy.
No.
Okay? So same story. And now you're walking out and your son's with you. And the guy jumps out from the other side of the car and grabs your son by the neck. Now what are you doing?
I'm jumping on the guy's back and tearing his eyeballs out.
Wait a second. Wait. You just told me a minute ago there's a 0% chance you could win.
Yeah, but he's got my son.
Well, listen. What are you going to do? What are you actually, are you trained in fighting?
No.
Well, how are you going to take him out? He's got a baseball bat and outweighs you.
But I probably won't be able to take him out, but I can distract him to maybe let my son loose, or so he won't hurt my son as badly.
Okay, all right. So you go after the guy, and then he swings his arm, hits you in the side of the head, and you actually go flying a couple feet and hit your head on the ground. So you tried, you failed, you got hurt. You're just going to give up now, right?
No way. He's got my son, I'm getting back up.
See, are you focused on what to do and how to do it?
No, I'm just doing it.
Yeah, now you're even at the point where it's like, I'm looking for a broken piece of glass. I'm looking for a brick. Maybe there's a hole, something laying around, right?
Right.
See, I hate to say this, but a lot of you need to get to that point in your life where when you want to save your son as bad as you want to become Black Diamond, nothing will stop you.
Wow.
And I'll give you guys one more example because I love telling Hendra's story. So here's a lady from South Africa battling depression, doesn't own a laptop. She goes through the pro mentorship and in her words changed her life. She was on a mission to tell everybody she knew about this gift that was given to her that she can now share with other people and give the gift to them. Because why? It changed my life. It inspired me. It gave me a vision of the future. It got me out of depression. You got to check this out. She was so passionate. It had a huge why. But can any of you explain to me how she did it? She didn't go through the basic training. She was brand new. She didn't learn what to do or how to do it. She didn't even have a computer, but she figured it out. She's never been in sales. She's never been in network marketing. And she didn't even have a warm market. So why could she go to Triple Diamond and you can't?
She knows her why.
Bingo. When you come from that place of passion and believing in what you're doing, that nothing will stop you. The scabs, the getting hurt, the people that tell you no is not going to matter anymore. You're going to laugh at it. And I know some of you, when I talk to you, you haven't got there yet, because when I talk to you, all you want to talk about is what to do and how to do it. You never bring up your passion, your why. Why are you doing this? See, Melanie never brings up to me what should we do and how should we do it. And here's even a funnier story. And, you know, I know that she's actually struggled a little bit now to get her people to duplicate. Why? She had this huge success. And then she goes, well, now I got to teach my people how to become successful. So let me go back. Let me go through the training again. Let me figure out what to do and how to do it so I can teach my team what to do and how to do it, and they can have success. And she can't get her people to go out there and do what to do and how to do it to have success. So now she's struggling because she can't convey that passion to them to go out and get excited. But she was at the end of her rope. She just, there was no alternative for her. You know, just like when I spoke to a gentleman today that, you know, his 5-year-old son, you know, he works 2 jobs and he's never at home. And, you know, he says when he gets to tell his 5-year-old son that, you know, today's daddy's day off, he says, man, you know, it kind of choked me up because, you know, me and my son are like buddies. And he goes, man, when I have my days off, you know, my son's jacked up. We go to the park, we play. You know, it's the greatest, you know, time for him when I can say, listen, I got Friday off. And I said, I want you to close your eyes and imagine you telling your son, you know, he goes, wow, Dad, is today your day off? And you go, yeah, today's my day off, and so is the rest of my life. How excited is your son going to be? So every time you get hurt, every time you don't feel like doing this, every time that you feel like quitting, I need you to close your eyes and look at your son and say, Daddy's taking the rest of my life off. You know, of course you're going to be working. All right, you got ready? Oh, love you. Of course you'll be working, but, you know, everybody knows I work really hard, but guess what? You know, I know my son's, you know, getting to the point where he's starting to realize things, but he knows where Daddy is all day long. You know, he can hear me in here talking. He can hear me in here working and getting passionate. He knows that if he ever needs me, that he can come in here. How many times have you guys even seen me do that? It's like I'm in the middle of a training, and then it's like, oh, my son's here. Matter of fact, I can't believe we've been on for 25 minutes. I think that's all you guys get. God bless. Hey, buddy. So I'm doing it for them. You know, I think that's the other area that you guys need to come from is that, you know, if you haven't figured out your why yet and you're not doing it for you, you know, do it for them. Find a passion outside of yourself. Find something that you can commit to and tell them, you know, because you know, you've let yourself down a lot, but maybe it's time for you to promise somebody else that you're going to do something for them. Because we're okay with letting ourselves down. We've been doing it our whole lives, but I'm sure as hell not going to let my son down. So hopefully that kind of, I kind of went off there for a little bit. I don't know how much time Melody wanted me to talk, but, you know, I can't stress enough on how, you know, how important it is to get your why and how important it is to focus on that and have you and work on yourself because, you know, just like I always say is you recruit who you are. If you're attracting the wrong people right now, it's because you're not mentally ready for it. You know, I see Randy on here, and it's so amazing because here's somebody that struggled and struggled and struggled and then made money and got money that, you know, said to the world, I found my home. I loved it. And then all of a sudden, this team's starting to blow up. He's starting to attract the right people. He's starting to find people that want to work with him. He's not chasing people down. You know, I know he's on vacation in a hotel right now, and I can't wait for him to come back because he'll have probably 3 people waiting for him to get back that want to work with him again. So that's the biggest advice that I can give to you guys, honestly. And I hope that kind of helped. I don't know, I didn't really plan anything for this, and Melody just asked me to jump on and say whatever I felt, and I think that's really it. There's a lot of people caught up on that, what to do and how to do, and that fear of rejection. But you can get over every fear in life by just very simply taking action. And that's the only problem with it, is people want to know what to do, how to get over the injuries, without taking action. But think of anything else that you want to do in life. Anything. It's going to take some time, and it's going to hurt a little bit. But at the end of the day, is it worth it? I don't know, Melody. Has it been worth it so far?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Robert, what you're saying is our why has to have an emotional roots.
Yep.
Right? Okay. So, and if it doesn't, or if like my why was my kids, and make sure that they're going to be taken care of, and their children's children, so they'll never have to go through the struggles that we went through before. Because it was for them, it was so powerful to keep me going when I didn't feel like sitting here, when I didn't want to talk to somebody, when I didn't want to do a hangout for Scott. That's what drove me. So if somebody has a why and it's big enough, it's really something that they want to achieve, that will help them hit the goals that they need to hit, to be able to have, take the rest of their life off, or be able to travel with their take their wife traveling like he always promised, or whatever it is, quit that third job. Right?
Absolutely. Not only, I wouldn't say it would help, it'll be the driving force behind it. I love the statement is you can have all the drive in the world, but you still need gas. So
I really thought that was going to be a golf joke there, or a golf term.
Yeah, what I kind of mean by that is it's weird where I see people that are actually working harder than other people out there, and then other people are having so much more success faster, and it's because they have a why and a passion behind it. I don't care if you believe in God, law of attraction, karma, the universe, whatever you believe in. There's something very passionate or powerful about emotions. And, if you guys have all seen the movie The Secret, they hooked up, electric stuff to their runners' brains and had them run a mile. And then they had the runners sit in a dark room and sit there and envision them running the mile. And the same brainwaves and function, their heart rate started raising, their breath started going faster, and they had the same emotional triggers in their brain, and they were sitting in a dark room. That stuff is so powerful, guys, I'm telling you. So I don't think it'll help. It is what will get you there. I'm telling you guys, why you look at everybody that's at the top of anything, and they've got a powerful story behind it. Have you guys ever heard of a success story where somebody said, well, listen, I had a pretty decent job, I had a great life, and I just decided to do something new with my life and try this thing out, and yeah, just, I made a bunch of money, now I'm, a millionaire, and it's pretty cool. If anybody can find a story like that, please share it with me.
Well, like they say, the best testimonies come from people that have had tests. I mean, you can't have a testimony without a test, correct?
Absolutely.
Or nobody really cares to hear about it. So it doesn't have that powerful influence on anyone. So thank you so much for sharing. And I really want people to understand that, I know Scott and I get this all the time. It's like, well, you guys are number one, number two, and it's easy for you. No, there were growing pains. Yeah, there were times that we wanted to quit, so many times, and I know Robert, the same thing with you. It was hard. It's not like we had instant success at what we were doing. We worked really, really hard. We made that commitment because of our why that drove us. And it wasn't just like, oh, all of a sudden, number one, number two. It didn't happen that way. We really, really had to put in the effort. And I want people to understand that we went through those frustrations. We went through those growing pains. But we were willing to do that to get to the other side. We were willing to go through crawl over all those boulders and pebbles and all the rejection. And that's one of the things that I always learned from you, Robert, was, go and get those 2,000 no's from your father. Get those, go out and have that goal of getting all of the rejection out of the way in the beginning. So once you start getting those no's, you become like a duck. And if you learn not to take it personally and just let it roll off your back, learn something from it. So when you start to get the people that are receptive to this gift that you're giving them with unlimited profits, that will start building your confidence when you start to see people, like when I shared it with Scott and I see Scott's growth, when I shared it with Randy and I see Randy and Beth having another form of income where they didn't have before. Seeing Doug hit diamond, seeing Cindy with all her growth and having her success, and everybody on here and so many people on the team, it's just so rewarding. It is so, so rewarding. And that's really the last thing I want to ask you, Robert, is how does it make you feel? I know you've seen your dad be able to have this effect on other people's lives for probably most of your life. I mean, it's most of your life, really. So since you were a small child. So now you're having that effect in touching other people's lives and making a difference in their financial security, their personal growth, how you work with, I mean, just me personally, how you've made a difference in my life and how much I've learned from you. How does that make you feel?
It's by far one of the most gratifying things in the world, and I still, thank you, Melody, for all the kind words, because it's still so humbling for even, for me to hear that. I still just look at myself as a below-average person that's just continuing to try to do above-average things every day, and to see transformation like I haven't seen in Scott and seen in you, and even Cindy jumping on the Q&A yesterday saying, oh my gosh, I'm so out of my comfort zone right now. It's by far one of the most gratifying things in the world. And I've said this before, is that I know when we have our first event with unlimited profits, that I'll probably be in the back somewhere hiding because I'm going to be crying the whole freaking time. Because a lot of people, I heard Melody say that some people said, well, you're number one and number two, it's easy. You guys have no idea how long I've known Melody and how much struggles I've seen her go through and how much sacrifices I've seen her go through. And now I look on this Google Hangout, and it's the Melody that I always knew that was in there. It's the Melody that I know is the person that she deserves to be, because, and just speaking with Melody, I know everybody on here is amazing, but she's got this incredible gift of being a nurturer and helping people, and what better way could she do that, other than, through unlimited profits. There's a couple people that, I don't know if you saw the chats, but it was like, oh my gosh, it's, Melody's like the mom, of unlimited profits. We immediately had people going, listen, you tell me who hurt her. I'll fly out to California right now and take that guy out. But, I really think it's a role that you are designed for, and you're taking it on head on. And I'm just so proud of you, Melody, for the person that you became, and, everybody's heard this statement. It's success isn't something you achieve. It's something you attract because of the person you became. See, Melody didn't have this success in the past because she wasn't ready for it yet. Even with me, if everybody's heard my story, I think I was just at the right place at the right time, and that mixed with this flat out hard work, I all of a sudden I was making $3,000 a week overnight, and I lost it. Why? Because I wasn't ready for it. If anybody mentally is on here watching this going, wow, I was, 6-7 years ago making $3,000 a week, and I'd go to Vegas and in a week spend $8,000. It's like, how stupid could you be? And back there I was just focused, that's another thing as far as your why, is that, having a greedy mentality, always focusing on you. What can I get out of this? How much money can I make doing this? versus on really putting your team's needs and focusing on really helping other people before yourself, like Melody does, and that's why she's at the top of the leaderboard. So, long answer to your short question. It'll change your life, and it actually almost is kind of how you would say addictive. You can take somebody that has a broke mentality that doesn't see a way out, and be able to change their thinking, because that's really all it is, guys. Is thoughts is reality. Whatever you think about, whatever you dwell about, is reality. If you're jumping on Facebook every day thinking about negative people and thinking about rejections, it's funny why you get so many of those. So when you really are looking at people to help, I get so excited when I find somebody new that's passionate and starts putting me on Hangouts. It's one of the funnest things ever. Somebody actually asked me this week. It said, well, you're working really hard. The company's blowing up right now. How long do you think you'll be doing this? And I go, what do you mean? Well, doing Hangouts for new people. And I've never been asked that question before, and it's like, I don't think I'll ever stop. I love this. This isn't work for me. Look at all the amazing people that's on this Hangout that I now consider very close friends and even family members that I wouldn't have got to meet, and it's like you jump on all of a sudden with Australia, and it's like, hey, I just wanted to tell you personally, thanks for changing my life. It's like, are you kidding me? It's one of those gratifying things ever, and I know that the more we can lift people up and the more that we can help people, we're really going to make a difference. And this is really the start of it, to think that this is such a brand new company and such a new concept. I know without a doubt in my mind that we're creating history right now. And I hate to say this, but there's some people on here live or even watching this recording that is not going to want to admit that you are a part of Melody's team back in 2015. You're going to want to erase that from your memory. It's like, yeah, I've heard of Melody. I was on some Hangouts with her back in 2015. Oh my God, you must be rich. Nah, I had excuses and I couldn't get over my fears and I had other things to do. So, yeah, I can let that one slip by. Sorry to be a little straightforward there. But anyways, back to you, Melody.
So Robert, the one thing that I get from a lot of people is the one question is, or the one comment I get from people is, thank you for thinking of me, but I really don't have time. And I know that I've been able to free up a lot of my time and take control over my time because of unlimited profits, because of the training and the ability to prioritize what was productive and what was going to get me to the results I wanted to get to. What's your comment when somebody says, I don't have time?
A lot of people don't have time to be amazing. I mean, really, there's two ways of looking at it. One, try to change their mindset, or really just realize that they don't get it yet. There's a lot of things you can do with people, but if that's just an excuse, that's just an excuse. There's so much time in the day. And really there's enough time for anything that you consider important. I love like how my dad said on one of the pro shows, if you guys didn't catch it, it's like, well, I don't have time for this. Well, if you went into your job tomorrow and your boss, you walked in and said, listen, we're shorthanded, we got some deadlines, we need you to stay an extra 3 hours tonight. You know what, I'm a little busy right now. I don't think I can fit that in my schedule. It's like, yes, sir, I guess I'm staying an extra 3 hours tonight. This is going to suck. I can't watch Dancing with the Stars tonight. It's like, come on, But, really, yeah, and you're absolutely right. Time, this is really, in my opinion, why I'm working so hard with unlimited profits. Money is great, yes. It gives you the tools to be able to do some fun, amazing things, to be able to help people, but time is the most valuable thing on this planet. I'm working hard now so I can spend the time with my family in the future. I don't ever want my son to say, hey, listen, can we go here and do this? Or, hey, I got football practice today or a big game today. Can you show up and watch? You want to talk about time, what's really important to you? Yeah, how many people can say that they can go on a week vacation and still make money and have their team grow when they're done? Exactly, right? People don't realize how valuable time is, and I just don't think too. People just don't realize what a hustle really understands. You know, there's a great video out there from Gary Vaynerchuk. The most important word, is hustle. And I never post it. And if you guys go to look at it, just know he's very in your face and he curses a lot, but he just says it how it is. So that's the best way I would say. People say I don't have time. Yeah, a lot. It's easy to be forgettable.
Ouch. Ouch. Right. So, well, Robert, I want to thank you for your time. I know how valuable your time is. And, I want to thank you from everybody here on the team just because we appreciate you and the support that we get from you all of the time. I hear how people are putting you on Hangouts all of the time and you sharing your story with people, and I know how powerful your story is too. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Um, I really love and appreciate you, and just give Ryder a big squeeze from Auntie M because um, I miss him. I miss him, and I miss all of you, you and Amy too. So thank you so much for joining us and for helping us and always sharing some great information with us. Love you.
Well, thank you so much. I love and miss you too, and I appreciate and love each and every one of you. I don't think you guys or maybe you do really understand how grateful I am for each and every one of you. This is my father's dream for years, and we know that we can help a lot of people, but if it wasn't for each and every one of you on here and believing in what we're doing and taking a stand that hey, I'm tired of this, I want to spread this information to other people, that we wouldn't be where we're at today. There's only so much me and my father can do, and yes, he can change people's lives, but if we're just standing on a soapbox on a corner, we're not going to do any help. And this is definitely a we family here, and I appreciate each and every one of you for everything that you do, and I do know it's hard work and sacrifice, and I know what you're going through, and I appreciate you taking a stand to be different and to not accept failure. So I love you guys, and thank you, Melody, for all you do. Oh, you're muted, Melody.
It keeps sticking. So, okay, even I can do this, guys. Thank you. I just really kind of want to open the call up, and Robert, you're welcome to stay if you want, but I know that if you've got Ryder over there in the corner, you're going to want to go play with him. So it's okay if you don't stick around. I just want to thank you. I do want to hear from the team, though, and find out if there's anything that, do you want to recognize somebody on your team? The leaders, I want to welcome the new people that are on our team hangout today. I know we have Paul or William Reese, so if you guys can all reach out to him. If anybody is watching and wants to come on and share something or say hello, this is the perfect time to meet the rest of the team and connect with one another. And you guys have been so great in supporting one another. Welcome the new members. I know we've got Tony out there. I think Tony is on, isn't she, Scott? And so many others. So, Scott, do you want to come out and welcome any of the new people on the team?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm not going to mute myself because I can't make it. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get it back. So.
I just want to go ahead and just say a couple things. Well, I want to say I'm really excited for Cindy and doing her first video, Comfort Zone.
That's right.
Awesome. Super excited for that. Diane, she's doing great. She's got 2 pros, 1 more, and she's a diamond. It's awesome, awesome. Couple of new pros that came on with me the other day. So I want to welcome Eric Markham. Oh man, now I'm gonna have to say Caesar, Felix, and Brenda Weiss. They're all new pros. So if you guys haven't add them to your friends list. So, and that's basically it. But I'm super excited. Just going out there and talking to new people. You know, I lead by example. So if I don't preach it, I don't teach it.
Perfect. And Scott, you are amazing, and I don't know how you talk to so many people so quickly, but every time I turn around, you're signing a new pro. I know we don't. You and I are not going out there, and with that goal in mind, we're out there really just sharing some valuable content. And because people are getting to know, like, and trust us, they're getting excited about what we have. They want to know why we're so excited. As somebody said to me not too long ago, Melody on Google Hangout, you look like a cat that swallowed the canary. What is it? What's going on? They hadn't talked to me in a while. I was just like, I'm just happy. I'm just excited. You know, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe what's been happening in my life. You wouldn't believe, you know, that guy Robert Hollis I told you about? He's changed my life. He gave me this gift, and so then, you know, just dripping on people and sharing the Science of Getting Rich website, and sharing Eric and Robert's interview. What are you sharing, Scott?
I'm sharing the stories more now because I don't know what it is, but people are more drawn to it.
Google Hangout, you look like a cat that swallowed the canary. What is it? What's going on? Marcus, you're gonna have to close the other window, sweetie.
There we go. Yeah, just right. It's basically now stories because people.
Right.
I listen to what they say, then I just see how I can help them, and then see who I can relate it with, and then if I could, I'd try to get them on a hangout with that person, possibly. But it's more likely just the stories, and that's what it is.
Right, things that people can relate to. And once you get to know somebody, you kind of find out who they're going to relate to, which story they're going to relate to, right?
Exactly.
So, guys, that's why it's so important for us to know the stories, to watch those stories, to have them bookmarked so you know exactly where to go to find them, to share them. And you know, when you share that one person's story that you think they're going to relate to, just like Robert shared on the Q&A yesterday, they're going to get distracted and they're going to see all those other ones on the side. They're going to start watching other things. So it's really, really important to be sharing that information with people. Things that people can relate to. Because that's why we're out there building rapport with people, right? It's because we want to be able to relate to them. We want them to be able to relate to us. So I remember when I started, I changed everything up, and I just shared my story. All of a sudden, people started reacting to me, recepting me differently because I was just sharing my story. I wasn't just forcing my link down their throat. Right? So really just take the time to get to know people, take the time to listen to them, and take the time to get to know the stories and what the best story for them is. Scott, anything else you want to share?
That's pretty much it, but just really excited for everybody and how the team just keeps on growing, and great to get here and see all you lovely faces every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific. But I'm just excited, you know. You just guys gotta tell stories, and that's it. Because people, the old way doesn't work. Unlearn what you learn and just start sharing stories.
How many times, Scott, did we have to relearn? We're doing things a certain way, and we're going, okay, we're getting a little bit of results, but then we figure, you know, how many times did we have to redo it? I was like, we were doing it wrong. We were doing it wrong. We were doing it wrong.
We did it plenty of times wrong. And then I wanted to fail. I mean, stopped so many times. But you're a good encourager. I just won't squeeze you that hard.
Well, thank you. I love you. Love you. So anybody else want to come out and say what's going on or what you've been getting out of the training or anything? I don't want to keep this going too long, but I want to give everybody time to speak up. Cindy, do you have anything?
Can you hear me, Melody?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, beautiful yourself. Thank you. Hey, I just wanted to take this moment just to thank everybody here and even people that are viewing this for all the very sweet comments you made on my my first video. You know, it just, you know, you get out there and you do something that's not comfortable for yourself, and that's tough enough, but then you think, I got to put it out there for my family, my team to look at, and these people could be critical, but you weren't. And, you know, and just the support and encouragement from everybody was just awesome. But what meant a lot for me, too, is I took the chance and I put it out there on my personal page. People that I completely, that's why I created a whole new Facebook page of just my business-related friends and family, because the people on my personal page were very negative. And I put it out there, and I was shocked at the amount of people that commented there and actually wrote to me and said that I actually inspired them to do things to jump out of their comfort zone. And that made me feel good, because I thought these are the people that were just, most of the time, didn't want to hear what I had to say when it came to business-related things or things that were going on in my life as far as that. And I actually think I reached out to some people, and that meant a lot. So so that was it. I just wanted to thank everybody here for the very sweet comments and the support that I always have from you guys.
Well, we are extremely proud of you, and I know that the comfort zone one was my first video. So you know, that was really hard for me to do, and to think that I'm getting on here and doing these every single day is just crazy. So seeing
and I know
your growth,
it was easier for me too. I just keep doing it.
It is very inspiring, and you know, Cindy, you know, make sure that you use that interview that you did with Robert and share that with people. That was a great way for me to share with people that really didn't care what I was doing or really wouldn't listen to me. But when you share that, all of a sudden, you know, they'll like watch it secretly.
Yes. And I did that. I even put that video on my personal page, and people commented. But what was funny is the one that I put out, my video I did yesterday that I put on my personal page, one of my friends that's in another network marketing company that I used to be with, she said, wow, she said, are you going through a speaking? Are you going to being taught how to speak? And I said, no, I'm just getting great mentoring. And I left it at that. And she said, is your mentor local? Because she lives right here where I live. And I said, no, he lives in Montana, but I get my mentoring through videos and live Google Hangouts. And I said, do you know Robert Hollis? And I'm waiting to hear back from her. But just putting that out there, you know, you never know who's going to see something and say, wow, you know, I like what you're doing. You've changed, something different about you. What are you doing? So that's huge.
It is huge. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I just want to encourage anybody who's watching, if you look in the postings, you'll see that we posted a live link for you to come on and join us if you have something to share with us. If you're somebody new on the team, pop on and say hello so we can see your face. Everybody can meet you and know who to connect with. Like I said, we've got such a great supportive team here. A great, I don't even like to use the word team, but family. We are so much like a family. So jump on board. Jackie, do you have something to say, dear? My firecracker friend.
I never have a shortage of something to say.
Has something to say always.
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and of course, you know what you said. We are like a family. I've never experienced anything like this before in my life, in network marketing or internet marketing. You know, it just always was so dry. And this is like, I mean, what a refresher, a refreshing thing to be able to talk to anyone. And Cindy, you inspire me. That was awesome, because I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone. You know, I've done videos in the past, but not more recently. Always like, what do I talk about? But I think I'll dip my toe in the pool now and maybe get all wet. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I really liked what Robert said today about you know, what we need to do in helping, you know, because people do fear rejection, and we sometimes feel that way. But that analogy with the toilet paper, and with if somebody was chasing you, a big brute, if they had your child, I'm sorry. I don't have children, but if it was my mom or my dad or somebody who I really love, any one of you guys, I would be like, we would have to take them out. So the same thing. So when we don't get tied to the result of what could happen, oh man, I could hurt myself, he could kill me, or could do, if we don't get tied to that, then people come around. Because I mean, Randy knows, like, I always I always say, oh man, I think I talk too much with somebody, and then he says, well, you'll do better having the Titanic come up, resurrecting the Titanic, and wouldn't you know it, the person gave me another chance. So, things, you never know, and it's about attraction, laws of attraction. I went and seeked Randy out because I looked at that face and I said, oh, he's a person I wanna get to know.
That's awesome.
Him and Beth and all of you all, Robert Jr.'s been instrumental, and Melody and Scott, everybody. I mean, Danielle, everybody. So I mean, I'm really excited, and I know that in the near future, we're just gonna be so far advanced, and people are gonna be like, what's going on? How did this all happen? Where did this come about? And it was like, okay, well, let me sit you down and tell you, what happened. Let's talk about Robert Hollis and this program he had in the making. Look at Zuckerberg and look at Bill Gates. I know people who are millionaires, multimillionaires now, who looked at Bill Gates and said yes, where the other ones have their lips poked out, like, what happened? Why not? I wanted to do that. Well, you didn't do it at the right time, the right timing. But anyway, I won't take much more of your time. But thank you so much, Melody. I appreciate this hangout. This made me feel better today as well. I don't know how I could be any better, because look at Scott says I'd be a twin. So
I would like to have these team hangouts to be able to get together as our family, and I like to say, come get lifted with us.
Sounds good to me.
Right? You guys see my UP in the background now? You see my fish? Oh, it's probably backwards of the camera, huh?
I like the Midwest people call it up. The up. Yeah. We're in the up. Love you, Melody. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone.
Randy, do you and Beth want to come out and say something?
How can you top that? I mean, gosh. Well, we had an experience today at lunch, and had a nice young man as a waiter at Drunken Jack's in Myrtle's Inlet in Myrtle Beach. And a nice young man, I'm guessing early 30s, has a little 6-year-old boy, and I grilled him. I asked questions. Every time he comes to our table, I asked him another question about his life and everything. He right now tonight is looking at Eric interview Robert. So we'll see what happens. He works 2 jobs as a waiter, a day job and a night job. But he wants to spend more time with his 6-year-old boy, which, like Robert mentioned earlier, and we'll see what happens. But that's the kind of people, when you meet people like that, just ask questions and get to know them. And Beth, I was talking about online marketing, and then Beth said something to him, and he turned back to me, he goes, Randy, tell me more about this online, what you're talking about. I was like, oh, okay. So that's all you have to do. Just make people feel like they are number one. And he gave us great service. We knew that from the get-go, but that's all I have to say about that. Just keep it positive and ask a lot of questions as you're talking to people on Facebook, and get to know them. Don't shove our business down their throats. Just get to know them and their family a little bit, what they like. And then, like you said, we have so many videos to pick from, what to go with. Right now, number one for me is still Eric and Robert. And then I go from there, and it just depends. But Beth, do you have anything?
No, I'm just glad that I was able to be on. I was off work today, and obviously in Myrtle Beach. But I'm just glad I could be a part of it today. So I just learn so much every single time I listen, though.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you with us. Any chance we can get you, Beth.
Well,
And thank you guys. You guys are a true inspiration, and just knowing that just in your everyday, gosh, on your vacation, at a meal, being able to just get to know somebody, and you use the time to really sharpen your skills, guys, and just get comfortable with talking to people. And like Robert was saying on gosh, what was it? I can't remember. Was it the Diamond Call or I don't know? Just recently, he was just saying, just practice, or maybe it was on a personal hangout with me and some of the people. He was just saying, just practice asking the $1 million question without the business, right? Just asking, just getting to know people. Can you do me a huge personal favor? Is there a great Italian restaurant around here? Where's your favorite restaurant in the area, or where's the mall? Where can I find a cheap gas station? Whatever it is, just get used to talking to people, and that's really what it's all about. And when I first heard him say that, I would literally do it in fast food lines, in Starbucks, wherever I was, just to get myself comfortable to talk to people that I didn't know, because that was extremely difficult for me to do. So I know we're going really, really late. Is there anybody on here that has anything they really want to share today? Or if you're watching, if you want to pop on and say something, I don't see any of our new people on. So if you guys have already shared, if you could pop off and let somebody else pop on here. I know, Marcus, we got you there.
Yes, I want to share something. Do I come with too much feedback, or you
No, you're good now. Go for it, brother.
Okay, I'm good. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody that's on this call. Cindy, I haven't watched her video yet, but I've seen it on my timeline, so I can't wait to get it. Jackie, she's always amazing. Everybody's amazing. Scott, I want to know what's in the water in California, because every time I look inside the group, you're putting somebody else in there. And Melody, I really want to thank you for speaking to Cindy, number 2 today. And she really liked that chat that we had. But as far as what Robert Hollis Jr. was saying about the story with the guy coming out of the store, he asked me the same question. And
Now we're getting.
Okay, wait. Let me see if mine is open. Okay, so it's good now.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so he asked me the same question, and I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing. So then when he was like, if he had your daughter, what would you do? And then it just immediately put me in peak position. So when he told the story again today, it just put me in peak position again. So I jumped on the small link watching from the YouTube page, so I just immediately had to come on this link and say that. So everybody that's new, how you doing? I'm new too. I'm about 3 weeks in, and I'm a former person that was extremely introverted. When I first got started marketing, they forced me to speak to people, and just like what Melody says now, I just speak to people outside and they think I'm crazy. I smile and say hi, and they look at me like, I just keep going. So yeah, Randy, that's definitely something that works. And as far as doing it online, I'm starting to come out my shell too. So again, I thank you for letting me share, and peace.
Thank you, Marcus. We are so glad to have you as part of our family, and so proud of you. Thank you. So, okay, who else do we have on here that wants to? Danielle. Yeah, we've got to wrap this up real soon here.
No, I'm really good. I just really enjoy the trainings and learning what you've learned. That's kind of where I've been going through a lot of changing. You can think that you're experienced in the networking industry, but you're always something new to learn. And I really appreciate all the story videos. I really think that those are invaluable. So just appreciate everybody here and love all the energy and all the love.
Well, we love you, and you certainly bring us a lot of energy here too. So thank you, sweetie. Thank you for all the help that you do with the team and always being there. You're a great support. So glad to have you here. Karen, would you like to come out and say hello?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen, about 3 weeks in. Hi, Randy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Melody. How are you?
Blessed and highly favored. Thank you for asking, Karen.
How you feeling?
I'm upright, so that's a good thing. Good thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I want to thank each and every one of you for all of your prayers and your thoughts and your messages and the little love notes and you know, you guys just brighten my day every single day. And it really means a lot to have so many positive, like-minded people to be able to surround you and lift you up, and that's what we all do, is lift each other up. I can't see what that says, Scott, but Karen, I want to welcome you to our family, and I just want you to know that we are here to support you any way that we can.
Thank
So
you.
please, team, go ahead and reach out and make sure you're friends with Karen. And Karen, I look forward to maybe you and I getting to spend some time just chatting, the two of us, and
Sure.
finding out how I can best help you succeed, okay?
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Welcome. I'm so glad you could join us today. Well, if there's nobody else online watching that wants to pop on and say hello, or I know we've got several new people out there that if you guys look, their long link has been posted in the message chat, and you can click on that, and it'll bring you here to be able to participate. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your time today. I'm so glad that we got to spend some time together, and I got to catch up with some of you, at least being able to see your beautiful smiles. We did lose, I know we lost Diane. She had to go and do a hangout with somebody. Doug popped off. I don't know if he had anything to share with us today, but our team is growing so fast. Just keep sharing that precious gift that we have with Unlimited Profits. Keep going out there and making a difference in people's lives. And most of all, just know that I believe in you. Love each and every one of you, and we'll see you when we see you.